What up, you guys? This podcast is probably going to be short, but I want to talk about other people's opinion. You know, um, sometimes you might set out to do stuff that people think you're not capable of doing. And I want you to know, if you really believe in yourself, like for real, you don't waste time arguing with people that have no idea what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, because the way life plays out, either they're right and your aspirations are too damn big, or you're right. You know what I mean? And you had exactly what it takes to make it big. But arguing with someone who doesn't believe in your potential, it's like, you know, debating preseason results. You know what I mean? Like, the season hasn't started yet. The basketball season hasn't started yet. The baseball season hasn't started yet. And people are, they're peacocking all day. They're posturing like, yo, I think this is going to turn out that way. You know what I mean? So it's better to just, do your daily routines, do your training, or do whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? And then when the season comes, then just execute. You know what I mean? Because, like, what does it matter what someone's opinion is on what a certain team is going to do? You know what I mean? Like, the game hasn't even started yet. So, you know what I mean? Preseason judgments, it's just, you know what I mean? People are always going to have them, Here's how to not get triggered by people's comments. You have to believe that they have the right to make them. When you believe they have the right to make whatever comment they want, like, for real, you know why freedom, it's crazy, because I was supposed to do a podcast yesterday. I was going to talk about freedom of speech. You know why it's getting attacked right now? Because people are so damn sensitive. They think that there are things that are not permissible to say. You know what I mean? There's things that people shouldn't say. But when you start classifying the things that should be said or the things that shouldn't be said, you start restricting speech because you're too sensitive to handle when someone has something specific to say. You know what I mean? But here's the thing about life. Like, when people say stuff, you don't have to agree with them. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing. You don't have to agree with them at all. You don't even have to fight these people, and you don't have to, like, argue, but you feel like you do because you feel like you need them to believe it. You know what I mean? Like, the only person you need to believe in you is you. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, God already believes in you. You know what I mean? In a lot of cases, I know some parents are against you, but in a lot of cases, your parents are on your side. You know what I'm saying? There are some cases where friends are on your side, but, there's always a chance the people that you think are supposed to be agreeing with you might turn. And when that happens, your belief in self, that's a test to how strong your will is. You know what I mean? So anyways, there was a conversation I had. I remember a dude, he told me that maybe you're aiming too high. Maybe you should pick a smaller goal, do something doable. When people talk to you, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. A lot of the times, everything that they say, when people give advice, is based on what they would do if they were you. You know what I mean? And different people, they might not be qualified to give you advice. You know what I mean? Maybe that they don't have a winner's mindset. So if you have a winner's mindset, you meet people that have a victim mentality, why would you ever listen to their advice or let their advice, you know what I'm saying? Like, they think the world's against them. They think there's no opportunity. They think life's unfair, and they're always losing, always complaining about the president, always complaining about policies and governments and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, versus you, maybe you're not a person that complains at all or much at all, because you have nothing but gratitude for being alive. And although you're not where you want to be or where you could be, you're working towards that. You know what I mean? And you don't have time to focus on the unpleasant side of life, because there's always going to be things that happen that are unpleasant. But the more you occupy your time in that space, the less time, you know what I mean? You're just wasting time, and you could use that time executing and, look forward to what you want to do. So yeah, man, you gotta analyze the people that are talking to you and realize their opinion only matters for as long as you give it permission to matter. For as much as you say that it does, then it matters. Some of you can't get over people's opinions, right? And what people say, and maybe you struggle with that, and you're like, yo, I don't want to care what people say, but I just do. Like, how can I stop caring what people say? You have to stop communicating to yourself that it matters. The only reason you care what people say is because you think it matters, because you tell yourself that it does, because you have a list of things that you think are permissible for people to say, and then you think that certain things people shouldn't say. But whatever it is that people prefer to be saying, those are the things they say. You know what I mean? Like, I always say, humans don't do what they should. They do what they want to. They do what they prefer to be doing. Sometimes it's within someone's preference to say a bunch of words that you think they shouldn't have said. But just because you don't believe the things people should be saying certain things, your belief system and what shouldn't be happening doesn't prevent things from happening. Things still happen without your permission. And for as long as you think that everything requires your permission to happen, that's why people are miserable, because things happen all the time without our permission. You know what I mean? The way to handle loss is to have acceptance. You know what I mean? It's just to develop a sense of acceptance for things to happen that are completely outside of your control, and never neglecting to do the things that are within your control, such as your response to things. You know what I mean? Because like the way you respond to people, it says more about you than, you know what I mean? Like how people talk to you, that's their personality. But how you respond to them, that's your personality. You know what I mean? Like that's your character. So when people say evil comments and all you do is make evil comments back, how are you any different than them? You might say, well, they provoked me. You know what I mean? Like, but they provoked me into doing, yo, I had this amazing picture. It said, it was talking about anger, right? I forgot what the picture quote was, but it was a picture of a dog leaping off of a cliff. Like it was a bird antagonizing the dog, and his two back legs was on the edge of the cliff, and he was leaping, like, you know, leaping to his death because a bird antagonized him. You know what I mean? And now he's dead because he couldn't control his emotions, because he had allowed things to matter that didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, yeah, so people are always going to doubt. You know what I mean? When someone, all right, let me go back. Let me take a step back. The person who told me maybe you should aim lower, my response was nothing. Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. Just let people talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I learned? There's definitely a lot of people in this world that talk a lot. In some cases talk too much, and they have, like, you know, too much to say or whatever. Let them talk. Just let them talk, right? You don't have to, like, you know, it's hard to let people talk when you're inside of your own mind and you're like, this person needs to shut up, and you're impulsively like counting down the minutes, and you're like, yo, this person's been talking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then it weighs on you. What's up, John? What's going on, bro? And then it weighs on you, and then you're like, yo, this person needs to shut up, man. They keep talking. You know, the reason I don't get frustrated when long-winded people talk a lot, you know, and I don't focus on how annoying they are, is because even fools can bring value. You know, somebody might be a fool and they might talk for 2 hours, but they might have 6 minutes worth of value that they actually said something meaningful. And those 6 minutes of a fool talking that otherwise they don't really have meaningful things to say, those 6 minutes might have been worth 2 hours. And you might be like, oh, so were you saying I should just let every fool talk, or you should just, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you gotta weigh that out to yourself. You gotta ask yourself what conversations are a complete waste of your time. Because only you know what you should be doing to manage your time. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing about giving advice or like parenting. Like, when a parent, if you have kids, and when another parent gives you advice on how to parent your kid, it's only based on what they would do if they were you. But their advice doesn't work for you because, like, maybe the wife and the husband, they're always traveling, right? They take turns traveling. Maybe they're both paid speakers. And there's always times when one of the parents are not home. So if there's two people that are motivational speakers, right? A husband and wife, right? They have kids, and they're like, yo, you speak on these events, right? And then I'll take on these, and we'll balance our time with the kids, and then we'll have time when we're home together as well. You know what I mean? How can an outsider give advice on that situation when their circumstance, like, you know what I mean? The other husband and wife on the outside, they're not motivational speakers. They're not trying to book engagements, and like, they're not taking time away from the family and then coming back, and then the other one's departuring off to do the same, and then they try to meet in the middle somewhere. How can any outsider give advice on that? You know what I'm saying? Unless they're going through that, or unless they're very educated enough to have empathy to say, yo, I'm not going through that, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are circumstances where people don't have experience. They might not have much experience on how to do it, but they know exactly how to give advice on it. Let me give you an example. A basketball coach, right? There are cases where a basketball coach never picked up a damn basketball in his life. Well, not to, like, play professional or be on a team or anything. Like, I'm sure he's held a basketball, but what I'm saying is he's not proficient at the game, but he knows exactly how to guide other people to be good at it. So there actually are some cases like that where somebody might say something meaningful. But the thing is, if you get frustrated and you just cut people off while they're speaking, you'll never get the chance to hear whatever value could have came out of their mouth, right? Because, like, you know, as a kid, like, I used to get lectured a lot. I didn't always appreciate it, but I always knew something good might be said. You know what I mean? And I wasn't pacing, like, in my mind, I wasn't pacing, like, waiting for the other person to shut up. I was just letting them talk. And as well, like, but one thing I did know, I was like, man, if I add anything to this conversation, it's going to go longer. Because some of the lectures I received as a kid was 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. You know what I mean? I was like, so yeah, and sometimes they were short. Sometimes they were 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So if I would have impulsively reacted, there would have been a lot of times where I would have taken what would have been a 15-minute conversation, 20-minute conversation, and I would have made it 1.5 hours, like torturing myself just because I told the person that how much I don't like their opinion or how much I don't value it. There's a lot of people's opinion that I don't value it. I don't value. I don't make it my life mission to tell them how little I value it. You know what I'm saying? I keep that in my own mind and I let them speak because even though I don't like the person, they might say something that's worth my time listening to. And because I care about value, that's all that I train my mind to listen to. I don't care about how annoying they're being because I don't focus on that. You know what I mean? I'm listening and looking for value constantly in everything I do, every person, every engagement. So when the person said, hey, you should lower your goals. Oh, what's up, John? What's going on? What's up, Delania? Oh, I didn't even know you was here. When a person tells you should lower your goals, just know that that's a reflection of themselves. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they feel about their life. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, all right, the life that I lived, right? A lot of people criticize, right? Like, I've never had a job ever in my life. I'm 28 years old. I know that sounds super strange to a lot of you, but my lifestyle bothers other people so much more than it bothers me. I don't give a damn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was cool. I was content. I was comfortable. You know what I mean? In mediocrity. Like, I know I'm capable of more, but for years I was just like, well, whatever. Like, and that bothered a lot of other people more than me. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand it's because if they were me, they would handle life differently. They would do things differently because of that. You know what I mean? They don't, you know what I'm saying? They might feel a certain way and that's their opinion. Like they have the right. I believe they have the right to express it, you know? And because I believe they have the right to express it, I'm not going to get mad when they're expressing it because I don't have to share the same viewpoint. If I disagree, I could just go the other direction or I could just, you know what I'm saying? But I'll at least hear it. So anyways, but yeah, so when a person told me, hey, you should aim lower, it just was no big deal. It was no big deal at all because I know that was a reflection of how the person internally feels about themselves. They think that they should aim lower. They're not aiming high enough. So of course they would tell me not to aim higher because of course they would, you know what I'm saying, pick the low hanging fruit, people say. And it's like, nah, man, I'm gonna find me a ladder so I could get the shit on top of the tree. That's what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get up there. Like, and people are like, nah, man, just take the low hanging fruit. People gravitate towards everything that's easier. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might wonder why somebody could be messed up for years at a time. It's because it's easier not to take on change. It's easier not to have accountability. It's easier to just stay stationary. Why do so many people have a victim mentality? Because it's easier to have one. It's easy to blame Trump for your issues. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that are easy, and that's why people gravitate towards easy. I know a lot of you entrepreneurs, some of you make thousands a week, and that's awesome, or hundreds, even if it's hundreds, and you're doing it online. I think that's really cool. But a common question that some of you may receive is it easy? And as soon as you receive that question, they're probably going to fail because you're like, yo, it's not about easy, dude. Do you want to make money online? You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for easy, get the hell out of here. Cause like, it's not about easy. It's about what do you want? Is it easy to get into heaven? It's probably not. It's probably hard, but does it matter? Is it worth your time if you get into heaven? You see how that's a much more educated question to ask yourself. Is it worth doing something? Because when you ask, is it worth doing it? It's no longer about difficulty level. People run away from difficulty. You might wonder why people talk about you behind your back, right? It's because it's easier not to confront you. That's why. You see how in all these scenarios, like whatever's easier, people navigate towards because it's easier. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to have a conversation about you behind your back than it is to address the same issues towards you. You know what I'm saying? And there are some situations where you might have something to do with that because maybe you're not an approachable person. Maybe you're impossible to talk to. I know one thing about people. When you make yourself impossible to talk to, then people will just talk about you to other people and how impossible you are and how unyielding you are. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easier to do those things. And you might be like, well, how come people won't address me specifically? How come people won't come up to me? Because that's not easier. You see what I mean? So like while people are looking for whatever's easier, they're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you could criticize that if you want. You could criticize human behavior and how people act. Your how you criticize them doesn't change them. It doesn't compel them to want to be better. It just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might continue being that way, and criticizing things all day makes your day go bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I notice about people that complain a lot, they just won't be happy. They won't be happy because they're focusing on everything that annoys them. And because that's their focus, they don't, whatever joy they could be feeling in life, it gets drained. It gets drained by them because of what they focus on. You know what I mean? You focus on everything that disturbs you, you're going to be easily disturbed all the time. That's your focus. You know what I'm saying? All of us, we scroll through Facebook, and I'm sure we see ignorant stuff. I scroll through Facebook. I see like some of the dumb posts that you probably see, like, you know what I'm saying, from different people. We probably don't share the same friends, but there's not that many different mentalities in this world. Even though there's 7 billion people, there's only 16 personality types. You know what I'm saying? There's only a handful of personality types. You know what I mean? So ignorant has no barrier in terms of, like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody could display, like, you know, ignorance, you know, but the difference between me and someone else who would consume that content and then complain about it is I'm not focusing on that. What does it matter if someone posts something dumb on social media? That has nothing to do with me. There's things that I want to do before I die. Like, I have to focus on that, because if I don't focus on that, then I'll consume my time focusing on things that are not worth my time. You see what I mean? So you gotta always remind yourself what actually matters to you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think someone else's opinion, what someone says, you know what I mean? Like, you might be I'll give you an example, right? Maybe you're married and there's someone that always has something to say about your marriage. So what? Are you happy with your marriage? Because people are going to talk, you know, and for as long as you think people don't have the right to talk, you make up rules in your head that constantly get violated by others. And when your rules get violated, it triggers an emotional response, usually anger. You know what I'm saying? You get angry, and then you'll get angry to the point where, you know, you might go to the doctor, have them check you out, see what's wrong with you. They prescribe you pills. You know why so many people are on pills to manage their emotions? Because it's easier to fucking do that instead of just to analyze your thoughts and realize your own thoughts are destroying you, your expectations, your sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, let me give you a scenario. Hold on, give me a second. Just read some of the comments real quick. Often confuse simple with easy as well. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, what's up, D-Flow? What's going on? People confuse simple with easy. Yeah, man, that's something that I would have confused as well, because I almost see those two words as synonymous. They're probably not. I definitely got to look up the difference between the two, but I see what you mean, John. Like, there's a lot of things that are like doable, and they're not like easy, but they're doable, which makes them simple. I think that's what you're saying, but I get what you mean. So yeah, man. So yeah, like, there's things that used to make me mad. You know, when I used to play video games, I give you some tangible stuff. I used to play Street Fighter, right? And when someone picked Ryu or Ken and they spam Hadoukens all day, that pissed me off. You know why it pissed me off? Because I didn't think that they had the right to play that way. Now my new mindset is, you know what? I don't like your play style, and I don't like going up against that. It's kind of like whack to me, but I don't have to complain about it. I could just go play somebody else, right? Yo, I used to send these people long paragraphs of hate mail about how I'm so dissatisfied with the way that they play, as if they wake up in the morning to please me and play Street Fighter the way that I think they should. Like, who the heck am I to tell somebody else what's appropriate for playing a video game? You know what I'm saying? Like, they purchased the game just like I purchased it. They spent $60 on it just like I spent $60 on it. And when you spend $60 on a video game, it's within your right to play it whatever to your preferred style, whatever that might be, and as many people as you piss off with your play style. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because like, you could just, you know, if I don't like your play style, then I could go somewhere else. If you don't like my play style, then you could go somewhere else. Problem solved. Neither of us have to complain, you know what I mean? And yo, I used to get spanked by like some noobs, like they were not that good, but I'm like, yo, how good am I if I get beat by a bunch of whack people? That means I need to practice. That means I got to get better at this game, because I'm not as good as I think. If someone could spam the same damn move and beat me over and over and over, that says something about me, like, as a person. That means I'm insufficient and I lack in certain areas. And if I set a standard that, yo, no one has the right to play this way, right, and then just get mad by it, like, I would set a standard that, like, you know what I'm saying, they have to play, like, because my play style, like, I like to learn long ass combos, like 35 hit combos, like 47 hit combos, and like I would watch combo videos and actually learn how the pros are playing and try to learn that stuff, because I didn't want to spam the same thing over and over, you know what I mean? So if I set a standard, my mindset was I need to play more spammers. I need to play more people that annoy me so that I can learn how to beat these people. You know what I mean? Like, and then and then I learned how to deal with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just going on YouTube and watching videos how to play someone that spams. You know what I mean? How to have a defense for, like, I would type in like the character that's beating me up, and I would type in how to beat Ryu when he plays this type of way, when he, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, yo, I just got better doing that. But if I would have avoided these people, I would have never learned how to actually beat them. So then I got good at beating the spammers, and then I used to make them rage quit, and now it's the reverse. Now they're sending me hate mail. Yo, you're like, yo, you're spamming. They say I'm spamming. It's like, dude, I just did a 47 hit combo. I don't think that's spam. Like, your hits only get to like 3 or 4, maybe 5. Like, because you don't know what you're doing. You're mashing the buttons. You're just button mashing. You know what I'm saying? But you don't actually know what you're doing. So yeah, man, I don't expect nothing from people when I'm playing a video game. Like, I feel like they have the right to play how they want, and because of that, I'll never feel violated by the way that they play, because I don't care, because I'm gonna play the way that I want. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't like their play style, I'll find another game. You know what I mean? So similar, this what I just said about video games, it relates to everything. If I don't like your Facebook post, like, I don't have to make it my duty to tell everybody who writes something that I don't agree with, to tell them that I don't like it. I could just delete them, right? Or I could learn how to overcome that by not focusing. The way you overcome that, you don't focus on it. You focus on things that are worth your time. There's so many things that if you had 10 minutes to live, it just doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And what somebody posts on Facebook, I think, is one of those things. Like, if you knew you were going to die in 10 minutes, like, whether or not God is real, that matters. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not Jesus is real, that matters. Whether or not there's an afterlife, that matters. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people that just don't care about the afterlife, God, Jesus, or any of these things. You know what I'm saying? Until, like, maybe if they're on their deathbed, maybe then they would think about these things. But then they would live a whole life neglecting the things that matter just to be on your deathbed and spend 10 minutes caring about the things that matter most. And those were the only 10 minutes that you spent on thinking about things that matter in a whole lifetime. That would be crazy. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, like, are doing that. They're running from truth. They're running from, whether it be priorities, responsibilities, or, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, just, a lot of things don't matter. So if you had 10 minutes to live, here's a list of things that it just really wouldn't matter. Like, like, if your wife's cheating on you, if your kids hate you, if someone spread a rumor about you, if you've known somebody for 10 years and, it seems like they don't know you at all, like, or they ask you a question that seems like they don't, like, you know what I mean? I had a conversation with somebody the other day. I asked a simple question. I said, do you have accountability over your own actions, or something like that? I said, are you able to take what you dish out? He didn't like that question. He was like, oh man, I thought you knew me better than that. And I'm like, yo, I'm asking you a question. From your perspective, do you think you could handle what you give to other people? Because there's a lot of self-righteous people that they do a lot of things that they wouldn't like to receive, but they like doing it. And they think they're capable of handling these things, but they're probably not. You know what I'm saying? And they don't realize that. Or they amplify themselves. They give themselves more credit than they deserve. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, some of the worst people in the world, they think they're some of the best people in the world. Every person thinks they're a good person. Everybody. You know what I'm saying? The thing about that, like, as soon as you consider yourself good, you might stop growing. That might be, you know what I'm saying? If you consider yourself a good person at 22, and then at 75 you have the same characteristics, then you haven't grown. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you consider good at 22, you're the same at 75, and you might have considered good mediocrity. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So that's why it's it would be good to, like, aim really high, like, whatever it is, so that if you don't meet the top goal that you have, you might land somewhere like 1 bar lower than that, or 2 bars lower than that. But it'll be a lot further than where it would have been if you didn't set the bar high, to begin with. So yeah, anyways, so yeah, I didn't get mad when the dude said I'm aiming too high. I didn't get mad when he says that my dreams are unrealistic. I didn't get mad, because it just doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, either he's right or I'm right. You know what I mean? And if we're going to fight about that, if I'm going to fight him because he has an opinion different than mine, then how much do I believe in my own self? If I'm going to even make that argument, it just shows that I don't believe in me. If I desperately need you to believe in me in order for me to continue believing in me. People think they need an emotional backbone of other people to be the emotional backbone for you. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't. Like, you need to believe you need to believe in what you believe in when nobody else believes it and when everybody else is against you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be a lot of situations where your mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, and everybody else, best friend turn against you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you have to be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not, you're going to dwell on how it shouldn't be happening. Your dwelling is going to take away time from you executing. And then it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just going to stay stationary complaining about how the world is not to your liking. You know what I'm saying? When nobody wakes up like to please you, no one wakes up to meet your criteria, no one wakes up to meet your expectation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I'm so glad to know that when I was depressed or when girls were breaking my heart, no girl has ever broken my heart, but I used to blame them for it. I used to break my own heart having expectations on them, like a bunch of things that I think should be happening and then getting mad when they don't. And then thinking that my anger has something to do with them when they don't create my expectations. I create it. So if I'm the creator of it, then I'm the only one that could destroy them. You know what I mean? My expectations. And not having expectations sets me up to have healthy relationships with every single human I meet. Because I have no, I don't, if you're Christian, I don't expect you to be Christian. You know what I'm saying? If you're nice, I don't expect you to be nice all the time. If you're compassionate, I don't expect you to be compassionate all the time. So now when you drop the ball, it's cool because I wasn't counting on you to have it held up the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. And I don't believe that you're alive to please me. You know how healthy that is? I'm not going to put no pressure on you to be, you know what I'm saying? Like what I think you should be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could have conversations about your potential, about your dreams, about your goals. But if you walk the other way from your destiny, from your potential, from what you could be, I'm not going to call you stupid or stubborn, because that's a lot of people are doing these things. Like they'll try to inspire you and then call you stupid because you don't want to take their inspiration or you don't want to take their advice. And it's like, yo, no wonder people are not taking your advice, because you insult people right after they don't take it. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of salespeople do. Like they try to make a sale. I had somebody block me because I wouldn't join their business. They got so mad. They had so much entitlement. They thought I owed them something. It's like, I don't know you, man. Like, you think I'm gonna just join your business? I don't care if you're giving me like, like when someone doesn't know you, you could send them a message saying, yo, I'll give you $1,000 for whatever it is, for like to check out a website. Like people will still be hesitant. They might be hesitant towards that still, because they'll be like, yeah, but what's in it for you? There has to be a deeper meaning. Like, why are you just giving away money? I don't trust you. I don't like you. I don't know you. Why the hell are you in my inbox out of all people? Like, what is it about me? Like, why are you trying to talk to me? Like, these are the questions people have in their mind. And for as long as they're like judging you mentally, that's why they don't join your business, because they have a negative opinion of you. You know what I'm saying? Like they think that you're just a scam artist or you're whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had somebody try to get me to join their business opportunity, and it was free. And I would have like, I think it was, I don't know if it was Dodge or something, but I didn't like the person. So I don't care if it was free or if I benefit. I'm not joining. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this dude. Cause like, it was just, I remember at first he sent me a bunch of voice clips and he was trying to make it seem like he's really trying to help me out. It's crazy how we'll go to another human being, making it seem like we're all about them, but internally we're all about self-preservation. It has nothing to do with the other person. We wouldn't even come to the other person if it didn't benefit us to do that, you know, in any way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the people that we're talking to know that. That's why they're resistant towards checking out whatever it is that we're offering. You know what I mean? Like, because people have a twisted view on all marketers, on all salesmen, on all entrepreneurs. And I know that not all of them are the same. Like, I know there's kind people in every department. You know what I mean? With religion, there's some evil ass people in religion. I know that. Some of the most demonic people know the highest amount of scriptures. You know what I'm saying? They're able to quote left and right, but they don't care about people. So I'm not impressed with scripture quoting. Same with marketing. Some of the best, like some of the people that are making a lot of money, like, you know, like I wouldn't join their organization. Why? Because I just don't have a personal connection with them. And I'm not impressed with how much money they're making. I'm only impressed with, are you adding value to people's lives? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you kind? You know, are you humble? You know, do you have wisdom? Do you say anything valuable? Or is everything you say, the only reason you say it is so you could, it's your sales pitch to try to make a sale, and then that's it? Like, what value do you bring besides trying to get somebody to sign up for a website? Like, is there any value outside of that at all? Like, these are the things I'm looking at. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Anyways, I have no idea how I got on that topic, but yeah, man. So don't take it personal if you're marketing and everyone thinks your thing is a scam or whatever. Like, people's opinion, like, it just, you got to find your target audience. Don't make it all about people having negative opinions, because you're gonna dwell, man. You're gonna dwell so hard. Like, you know, there's some people, and comparison is the thief of joy. You know what I mean? So many people are comparing themselves to other people, and they wonder why they're unhappy. It's because you saw somebody succeed in 6 months, and it's been 7.5 years, and you still haven't succeeded, and you're judging your path according to their path, and you're like, damn, like we're both in the same field. Why did it take them 6 months, and why is it taking me 7.5 years? Maybe they're extraordinarily more talented than you. Like, maybe that's a factor. And what are you gonna do? Get mad? Get mad that someone's more talented than you? You know what I'm saying? Like, in areas where you lack talent, you just gotta, like, there's this quote. It was like, hard work beats talent when talent isn't willing to work hard. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talented people that they just don't put in as much work, and someone who less talented than them actually have the capabilities of beating them because they have more time, or they're willing to commit more of their time to studying. You know what I mean? I saw this one quote from Jim Rohn when he was talking. He says, when he's talking about being a salesman, he says, I was willing to make up in volume what I lacked in skills. So what he means is, better salesmen, people that were better salesmen than him, they were able to make for every 10 phone calls, they were able to convert, let's say, 6 people. And for him, for every 10 phone calls, he was able to convert 1 person for every 10 phone calls, which means he had to call more people than the other salesmen to get better than them, or to get to their level. He had to make 1,000 calls. You know what I mean? If both of them make 1,000 calls, that means the other person's converting 60% total, and he's converting 10%. So he's gonna have to be willing to make 2,000 phone calls, 3,000 phone calls, 4,000 phone calls, and learn from each mistake, and learn from customers' reaction, write down some notes, like what's going on. And so, yeah, when people are more talented than you put in more time into developing the skill, and then you might actually grow in a skill level to the point where your skill level now becomes your talent, that you wasn't so prone towards it. You wasn't so, like, people orientated, and you wasn't, like, good at communication, and now you're communicating like master. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, there's areas that you could develop in. One of the craziest things is sometimes people just say, I'm not good at this. And it's like, you don't know what you could be good at if you only put in the time. There's so many things that we could be good at if we would only give it a try, So, and you'll never know what those things are for as long as you're saying no to every opportunity. So that's why when opportunity comes, I say yes first before I even understand what the hell I'm doing, and I'll pick up the skill as I go, because I don't want to say yes to something I could be amazing at. I got to tell you a story. I know a friend who, he could have been getting paid a lot more money, right? He would have been like a supervisor or something, but he turned down the position because he didn't think he was qualified for it. Because when he went to the interview, they asked him some questions, and they told him about it, and he was like, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. If he would have said, yes, I'm ready, he would have got paid, like, I don't know, like $15,000 more a year or something like that. And he was like, man, I feel so bad that I turned down that position, but I really didn't feel like I was ready, or this and that. People have to feel ready before they say, yo, I am ready. But it's like, when you just say yes to everything, like, and not everything, like, because sometimes people are gonna be like, yo, like, I know you're a professional speaker or whatever. I know you get paid 15,000 per engagement, but I want you to do this engagement for absolutely free. And it's like, yo, get the hell out of here. So yeah, some things are just not gonna be worth your time. You know what I mean? And some people are gonna try to take advantage of your skills or talents. So you're gonna need some discernment, right? To understand, to just know, like, what are you trying to go for? You know what I mean? Like, right now, nobody knows me, so I'm gonna have to speak for free. I'm not a paid speaker yet, but that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many I'm going to have to do. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have to do 40 of them, 50 of them. But what I do know is, in the process of speaking for free, hopefully I could have somebody with me take the footage, and I'll be able to upload this footage. And yeah, man, use it to try to get somebody's attention. Like, the people that I do want to speak for, send them footage of me already speaking, and maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll book me off of, me getting paid to speak for free 50 times. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, I might speak for free 50 times in a span of like 3 months. And then 6 months later, after those 3 months, now I'm getting paid $7,000 every time I speak. So, you know what I mean? Like the seeds that are being planted is not in vain. Like sometimes it's just lag time and it takes time for it to grow. You know what I mean? But so many people quit because it's not happening right away. I had this meme I posted the other day. It was like, yo, when you're not rich, when you go to work and you're not rich in 3 minutes or something like that. When you start a business and you're not rich in 3 minutes, and the dude's like throwing papers around his office and he's super frustrated. It's like, bro, it takes more than 3 minutes to get wealthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a while. So, anyways, yeah. So people's opinion matters as much as you tell yourself it does. You keep telling yourself it matters, it's always going to matter. And you're always going to be a person that it matters to because of the conditioning of your mind, because of the internal conversations that you have with yourself. Because every time someone makes an unnecessary comment, you focus on how unnecessary it was and how it shouldn't have happened. And that thought alone steals potential joy that you could have been having otherwise. You think you would have had more joy that day if they didn't make the comment. That's not true. You would have had more joy if you knew how to deal with those type of comments, because those type of comments don't stop existing just because you don't like them. You know what I'm saying? In fact, there's so many people, internet trolls and stuff, and people that just enjoy getting a reaction out of you, that some people, as soon as they know what your hot buttons are, they're going to try to press them more. You know what I mean? So the way to overcome is to get stronger. You know what I mean? Like get stronger at dealing with comments, like, you know, and asking yourself better questions like, what am I not? Well, first you got to understand, like when it comes to anger, there is an expectation tied to it. You know what I'm saying? Your expectation is they shouldn't be saying it. There's two words that destroy people's life on a daily basis: should and shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? This should be this way and this ought not to be that way. This shouldn't be that way, or it must not be happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people have their standards of, and they're always getting violated. Why? Because people don't care about their perception of what they think should or shouldn't be happening. Because if someone wants to do something that you think they shouldn't be doing, who cares? They're going to do it because that's what they prefer to be doing at the moment. You try to find logic in people's behavior. Like it's not, you know, it's not about what's more logical. People are emotional towards the decision they make. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing logical about smoking cigarettes for 50 years or 35 years or 65 years. Nothing logical about that. So if you're trying to find logic, and there is no logic to be found. But this, you know why people smoke cigarettes so much? Because it's easier to smoke cigarettes than it is to deal with life stresses. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to turn to drug abuse than it is to say, how can I overcome these issues? And, you know, like, and it's crazy how a lot of a lot of humans are no different than ostriches. Ostriches, when there's danger, they bury their head in the sand and they deal with the issues that way. You know what I mean? So turning to a bottle of alcohol, like, you know, smoking and stuff like that, it's like burying your head in the sand, like not willing to deal with whatever it is you have to deal with, or thinking that that form of escapism is going to alleviate the pain of life. What alleviates the pain is when you have mental fortitude. I can't think of anything else that will alleviate pain faster than that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a process, you know, like, you know, some people might come to the conclusion that they have a philosophy that 95% of it needs to be burned off, and it's painful. You know what I mean? To know that 95% of who you are is completely useless to you as well as other people, and that you need to burn it off in order for new things to grow, new ideas, new concepts, new philosophies, new indoctrinations that are not keeping you bondage to misery, to depression, to anger constantly. You know what I mean? Like, for every angry ass person, there's a philosophy they have that keeps them that way. There's a criteria they think other people need to uphold. And for as long as they're not upholding it, they're raging and getting mad. And they think their anger is other people's problem. You know what I'm saying? But it's their expectation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, some people are going to tell you your dreams are like way too big. Some people are going to tell you that, you know, you should aim lower. And it's probably a direct reflection of themselves. They probably think that they should aim lower, or they wouldn't have big ambitions. They wouldn't aim for the sky. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And it doesn't mean they're wrong for saying that. It just means that's their opinion. That's all it means. You know what I mean? And everybody has the right to have their opinion or to even voice it. And you don't have to agree with it. When you hear it, you know what I'm saying? Just, you could challenge them, I guess, if you want. You could have a conversation, or you could just let them talk. You know what I'm saying? I let people get stuff out. You know what I mean? And because I know what I want to do, and I know that it doesn't matter who disagrees, because I have to do what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like, and there's going to be people that come against me, and that's fine. Like, you know, so I think it's better to go against everybody else for the sake of your dream than to not live your dream and then resent everybody else who told you not to execute. You know what I mean? Because it builds resentment in your heart. You're going to be 85 years old blaming everybody else for why you didn't accomplish your dream, and making it everybody else's fault, for being negative or for being, you know what I mean? When the only person is to blame is you for not getting mentally stronger, not having mental fortitude to be able to deal with negative comments, you know what I'm saying? To be able to deal with people that doubt you and people that say bad stuff and people, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are always going to have something to say. People are always going to make comments about your family. People are always going to talk about your marriage. People are always going to talk about your kids. People are always going to talk about the thing that you're trying to build that's probably, they think it's going to collapse. It's a matter of time before it does. There's always going to be critics. You know what I'm saying? So the problem is not haters. The problem is how you react to them. You know what I mean? If not, the best thing to do with those type of comments, use it as a resource, let it fuel you to be like, to do what you have to do. You know what I mean? So, cause otherwise most people let hateful comments destroy them. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how far back Logic's hairline is pushed back from consuming so much hate on the internet. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It was messing with his mental health, giving him anxiety, giving him all types of disorders because he allowed things to care. He allowed things to matter more than it actually does. You know what I'm saying? Only because he tells himself that it does. So it's made his hairline go back. He had shaved off his whole head and having a mental crisis breakdown. You know what I mean? The inability to deal with negative comments. You know what I mean? And I guess maybe he just never foresaw that when he gets famous, that more hate is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? The more successful you get, the more you're going to have to deal with hate. So, like, just think about Jesus, man. Like, what type of hate he had to deal with. And he was super successful in terms of doing the things that he came here to do. You know what I'm saying? Doing the things because he had a mission that he was on, things that he had to accomplish before he dies, and he had a limited time to get there. And if he would have allowed hateful comments and people telling him that he's dreaming too big, or people that, you know what I'm saying? If he let that get to his mind and let that matter more than what matters most, his mission would have never been accomplished. You know what I'm saying? And he would have blamed the world for his problems. It would have sounded so funny, like Jesus blaming other people for him not being emotionally stable, or for him not taking accountability, or for him not being able to, you know what I mean? Like, his power source was God. You know what I mean? God himself. When he had issues, he just prayed. He constantly was praying, asking for guidance. And yeah, man, just pushing through everything else. The problem is not the obstacle. You know what I mean? The problem is you think the obstacle is a problem. That's the problem. Or the problem is you think obstacles shouldn't exist, or things shouldn't get in your way. Every good thing in this world is going to get attacked. Every good thing. You know what I mean? Like, you spend part of your time growing your crops, right? And, growing plants and watering it, keeping a good garden. The other half of your time is spent protecting what you just built, because it's going to come under attack by people. And sometimes by people that you thought wouldn't have never done that to you. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so yeah, man, that's the last thing I want to leave you with on this podcast, is to just tell you guys that people's opinion matters as much as you tell yourself that it does. And if you think people don't have the right to express certain opinions or feel certain ways, it's because you don't have no empathy towards their viewpoint, and you don't care to understand them. You just care to be critical and criticize. When you are more curious than you are critical, you'll have more peace, because when people criticize you, you'll be more willing to ask them, like, why, have the conversation and ask them why they're how come they act in that way. And when you have the conversation, you'll realize there's so many dead dreams inside of these people and things that they never accomplish. There's so many people that they die at 26, but they get buried at 65. And what that means is there's so much in them that dies because they don't believe, they don't have faith. You know what I mean? So they're just a walking corpse from 25, 26, all the way to 65, 75, whenever they die. You know what I mean? And they never really lived, because they let the world beat any goodness out of them, any goodness that they have to offer, any services or products that they were working on. They let people tell them that there was no way that it was going to happen. When there's somebody in this world who is less qualified than you are to do the things that you're doing, and they're going to surpass you. They're going to get ahead of you, because in areas where you let negative comments weigh you down, they're not allowing that to get to them, because they know they have a mission, and they know that if they had, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's only a couple things that actually matter. And there's so many distractions that we allow the distractions to matter more than what matters most, which is purpose and, finding fulfillment. and living out that purpose and walking out that purpose every day. So anyways, please don't let negative comments get to you. Stop saying that people shouldn't make them. And stop saying the word, if you could stop doing these things, stop saying the word should and shouldn't on a daily basis, even mentally. You might say, oh, well, I've stopped saying it verbally, but if you say it mentally, it's almost like you did say it. You know what I mean? It's happening in your head. So if you could stop saying it mentally about in reference to other people, what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing, your life will be at least 50% more peaceful than it is. I promise you that, man, because those two words destroy lives. People are obsessed with what shouldn't be happening, what should be happening, and and it just takes the place of them doing whatever it is that they could be doing if they weren't so obsessed with what other people shouldn't be doing. It's not your business, you know what I mean? And the people you're criticizing, you probably don't even love them. You probably don't even care about them, which means that should be even more of an incentive to not talk about people that you don't even care about. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the people that you criticize because they criticize you, if they died right now, it wouldn't even matter to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, like, you really want to occupy your time, talking about everyone that's like, if they died right now, it would have no relevance to your life or significance, or you wouldn't even cry for them or pray to God that they're in heaven. Like, you would have no compassion for their death. It would be like, oh, well, another hater dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? When that's your viewpoint towards people, then why would you even care what they have to say when you don't even care about the person at all? Like, if they're living, if they're breathing or not, you know what I'm saying? And you want to take time to think about how they shouldn't say certain words. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I just really believe people have the right to say, think, and feel what they want and to do what they want. So that's why no one could upset me. No one could disappoint me, because I give no man that permission to do so, because they're not alive to please me. I just have to make it my duty that no matter how unreasonable or how unfair, unkind people are, that I just want to love everybody and see everybody the way that God does, regardless of how they're acting. Sometimes we only want to give grace to people that quote unquote deserves grace or deserves kindness or mercy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you start giving it to the most undeserving people, you'll find the most fulfillment in that action of walking out in grace towards people that quote unquote don't deserve it. That's the only place to find fulfillment, because that's the only place that you're not complaining on a daily basis, whining about things not going your way. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have a job that you really, really hate going to and it underpays you, I mean, you could learn to love the people there, and that would at least make it exciting. You know what I mean? When you try to add value to people's life, when you try to like have conversations with more people, instead of complaining about how annoying your employees are, trying to get to know them and really trying to talk to them, because you could be the change that they needed. You know what I'm saying? But you'll never be the change they needed if you spend your time being consumed by them and then being molded by their injustice and then reciprocating whatever evil was inside of them. Now it's bouncing off into you, and then you're reciprocating that energy instead of living a life where no man, no woman could consume you negatively, and all the power, the only power you have is to consume other people positively. And that's where you find maximum impact in this world. You know what I mean? And you'll be a huge blessing to everybody around you because of that. So if you could ever get grounded in certain things, personality wise, character wise, virtue wise, you know what I mean? So anyways, so I'll leave you with that, and yeah, man, see you on the next podcast. Take care.